Good morning. We are continuing on with CO5. I can use equivalent fractions to simplify a fraction and solve a proportion. So we will know that at the beginning of the year, we have kind of easier objectives that we kind of already know what we're doing. We're like, oh, that was on our entrance exam, we did proportions. I kind of get this. It's gonna get harder as the year goes on. So we start off a little simpler. It will get harder and harder every unit that we go through. So if you're thinking, oh, this sounds familiar, I get it, it's gonna get more challenging, don't you worry, okay? We will get into more challenging stuff. We have CO5 today, and then we have CO6 tomorrow, and that is the end of our Unit 1. So Friday is a work day, retakes in Khan Academy, new Khan assignments. That means Monday of next week, we are doing a practice test. Practice test, I don't grade. I give you an answer key for, just like how you had that review packet sent home in August, and then we sent home the answer key so you could see how you did. That's what the practice test is. Okay, so the practice test, just to make sure that you know what you're doing. Then we'll have the real test. So after the practice test, that's the time where you ask questions. Oh, I don't understand how you got this answer. Help me work it through. So on the real test, I'll be able to do it, okay? So Monday is a practice test. Don't freak out. It's not the big full-on test that I grade. I don't like giving big tests on a Monday. Right? I don't want to take a big test on a Monday. I'm not going to make you take a big test on the Monday. So I try really hard to avoid that. But that's what we have coming up. So we have CO5 today, CO6 tomorrow. That's why I want our retakes done by Friday so we can have all our focus on our Unit 1 test next week. All right, equivalent fractions, simplifying proportions. So what does it mean to have equivalency? Equivalency is having the same value. So if they are equivalent fractions, once you simplify them down, they simplify down to the same amount. To find an equivalent fraction, you multiply or divide both the numerator and denominator by the same number. So it's increasing or decreasing the same amount. In effect, you are multiplying or dividing by 1, so even though the numbers in the fraction will change, its value will not. Okay, so the value is the same. 1/2 versus 2/4, same value, right? If we were to see it, if I have my rectangle and I divide it in half, I have my rectangle and I divide it into fourths. 1/2 is the same value as 2/4. We can see it's the same amount. So equivalent fractions, same value. We just write it differently. 1/2 versus 2/4. Using a calculator, you would compare the decimal values of the original and the equivalent fraction. So if I have 1/2, how would I put that into my calculator? Who remembers how I said to do that? Henry?
You put 0.5 in it?
No. How do I divide? 1/2, how do I put that in the calculator using division? So we've got 1. The fraction bar is actually an operation. It's that division. So putting it into your calculator, you would do 1 divided by 2. And that's how you're going to get your decimal. So right now you can put that in. What decimal do you get if you put in 1 divided by 2? What do you get? Camp? 0.5. Now, if I have 2/4, what am I going to put into my calculator? Elliot?
2 divided 4.
2 divided by 4. Always the numerator first, then divided by, then your denominator. If you put in 2 divided by 4, what decimal do you get? Elliot? 0.5. So we get 0.5 up here, 0.5 down here. We know they are equivalent, because when I divided my numerator by my denominator, I got the same decimal. So that's how you check that equivalency with fractions. That's how you can check on your calculator. So big thing to remember is that fraction bar means that we divide numerator divided by denominator. So we are going to write 2 equivalent fractions for each given fraction. Check your answer by comparing the decimal values of all 3 fractions. So if we're given 3/7, what would be an equivalent fraction for that? Henry,
6/14.
how did you get that, Henry?
Because I multiplied 3 and 7 by 2.
So Henry multiplied top and the bottom by 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 7 times 2 is 14. What's another equivalent fraction we could have? Joe,
9/21.
how did you get 9/21?
I multiplied 2 sevens by 3.
He multiplied the 3/7 by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 7 times 3 is 21. So I did the first part. I wrote 2 equivalent fractions. Now I'm going to check by finding the decimal of each of those fractions. What is my decimal for 3/7? Elliot,
0.42.
rounding matters.
Uh,
So if we have 0.428, we're rounding to that hundredths place.
0.43.
Yes. So 0.43, because rounding matters. All right? That 2 is followed by an 8, so we had to round it up to the 3. So 3/7 was 0.43. So now you have to go and check 6/14. What fraction do you get if you divide 6 by 14? Colton?
1/4.
0.43. What decimal do we get if we divide 9 by 21? Laura? 0.43. So I should see your 2 equivalent fractions, and then I should see you're checking each fraction to make sure that they are the same decimal. If it's a different decimal, it means you did something wrong with one of your equivalent fractions. You need to go back and rethink out, look at that fraction, where did you go wrong? Finley,
Oh, do you have to like show your work?
this is the showing your work.
Okay.
Okay, so you can multiply in your head, 3 times 2 is 6, 7 times 2 is 14. That I'm fine with,
Okay.
but you do have to tell me what you multiplied or divided by, and tell me what the decimal is for each fraction. Sometimes we're multiplying up, sometimes we could divide. If I look at 8/10, I could divide by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Can't divide anymore, so maybe I'm gonna multiply by 2. 8 times 2 is 16, 20 times 2 is 20. I'm not done. I found 2 equivalent fractions, but now I need to list all their decimals to make sure that they are the same. It is super easy to mess up on our multiplication facts when we go quick. 4 times 7 is not 21, it's 28. Okay, we make those simple mistakes, check it, and you will see when you make that mistake, it's gonna have a different decimal. So that's how we double check our answers. Somebody had a hand up. Okay. Let's look at our second page. So everybody turn. We're not finishing working on this page right now. Turn your page to the second page so we can hear the directions on the second page. Everybody's turning. Oh, sorry. Go back to that first page. There is a definition at the bottom of the page that I missed, my bad. Proportion. What is a proportion? A proportion is two equivalent values form a proportion. Usually, it's commonly as fractions. So usually when we see proportions, we see them as fractions. So you can solve for a missing value in a proportion by using equivalent fractions. Find the scale factor between the numbers that are known, then apply the scale factor to the unknown value. Oh, what is a scale factor? That's a new term for us. Anybody know what a scale factor is, Henry?
So like, if you have two fractions and you or if you have one fraction, you multiply it by 2, you're scaling it up 2 times.
So what you multiplied the top and the bottom by, or you divided that top and the bottom by, when you're multiplying, you're dividing by the same number. That's the scale factor. So if I multiply by 2 to get that equivalent fraction, my scale factor is 2. Okay. So it's what you're doing to the top and the bottom. If it's the same thing, we call it the scale factor. Multiplying top and bottom by 2, multiplying by 3. That's the scale factor. So now let's look at, well, compare the decimal values of the two fractions. In a proportion, they are equivalent. So you know your answer is right if the decimals are the same. Okay? Just like when we did equivalent fractions, proportions are the same thing. Find that decimal for each side and you'll know if you are right. So let's look at our second page now. Now we're turning the page. Now we have proportions. Find the value of n using equivalent fractions. Check your answer by comparing the decimal values of the two fractions. For the first 4, use equivalent fractions going left to right using multiplication. But down here, our n is on the first fraction. So we need to go backwards, and we're going to divide. So look at our first one here. Mr. Schultz is giving us easier proportions to work with. Okay, so if we look at 1/2, how did we go from 1/2 to that bottom denominator of 2? How did that go up to 60? AJ? We multiplied by 30. That's our scale factor. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So what's 1 times 30? 30. So n equals 30. And then I need to check my work. Are my decimals the same? So what is the decimal for 1/2? 1 divided by 2, Gavin? 0.5. What is 30 divided by 60? Use your calculator. What is 30 divided by 60, Bo?
0.5.
Did I do it correctly?
Yes.
They're the same decimal. So I know, I got that one right. I can move on to the next one. What would I do if I got it different decimals?
You would have to probably put the 1/2 in.
I would go back and refigure out what I'm multiplying by. Did I multiply correctly? Right? Usually, we got our multiplication factor wrong. Go back and double check. Going backwards, we look at this and say, okay, how did I go from 12 to 72? I can either multiply up or I can divide down. So 12 to 72, I'm multiplying up. If I don't know what number to multiply, because I might not know my 12s as well as I know multiplying by 5s, right? You might not know those multiplication facts, work it backwards. What's 72 divided by 12? Finley?
6.
So if I divided on the bottom, scale factor, I need to divide by 6 on top. What's 24 divided by 6? Elliot? 4. So I know n equals 4. Now I need to go in and do my decimals. What's 4 divided by 12? Henry?
0.3334.
So we round to that hundredth place.
So 0.33.
0.33, because we only ever have to go to the hundreds, but remember, we're rounding to the hundreds. We're not just saying, oh, 0.33, and I'm just dropping it off. We want to make sure we round it. So with the 0.333333, we know it rounds to 0.33. What's 24 divided by 72? Laurel? 0. What?
33.
So, did I do my math correct? Yes, I got the same decimal. And I'm proving it. Okay, I'm not guessing. I'm not saying, oh yeah, it's right. Double checking means you do the work. On the bottom, it's word problems that you're doing the same math. They just put it as words. And we need to figure out our proportions. So a blueberry muffin recipe says you need 75 blueberries to make 8 muffins. How many blueberries will you need to make 40 muffins? So Mr. Schultz actually helped you out with this by helping you set up your proportions. On the test, you're going to have to take your word problems and set it up yourself. What you need to take note of with this is if I put blueberries on the top in my first fraction, I have to put blueberries on the top in my second fraction. Muffins are on the bottom here, muffins are on the bottom here. So make sure what you're measuring is the same. Blueberries to blueberries, muffins to muffins. And then you do the same math that we were doing up top. You solve for your missing one. Solve for that n, your question. That make sense?
Yes.
Any questions on today's work? When you finish with today's work, because we do have a lot of work time today. When you finish, you can come and check with me if you want to make sure you're doing it correctly. If you're confident, that's fine. We're going to correct it tomorrow. Look at your assignment notebook and cross off CO5 if you have it done. Then you're going to check your Khan Academy. Did I get my Khan assignments done? They are due tomorrow. If you have them done, cross it off on your assignment notebook. If it is not done, work on them. Right? If you get Khan all done, you already have it done, then it's math packet. Remember, I made that video on Monday. You can watch the packet video and help you do those pages. If you have questions, perfect time to come ask me questions. Packet needs to be to me by Friday if you want the chance to redo them. If you have practice work you need to work on, for the retakes for Friday, get practice work done and turned into the blue tray so I can correct it. I am going to be calling friends up to get practice works that I corrected that were turned in earlier this week. Some of us are approved, ready for the retake. Some of us need to fix some mistakes. Okay? This is a work time in class. Use it responsibly. If you get through with everything, you've got your assignment done, you've got all your retakes done, you've got Con done, you get your packet done, then it is a silent work time. It's not distract my friends. Right? This is a quiet work time. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day and don't forget to like and subscribe.